Guys, welcome to our Deep Dive Wednesday today. We are going to springboard from last week's
Are we
conversation.
still calling it that?
What, Deep Dive Wednesday? What do you want to call it?
Why not? Let's go.
I
Let's
think
get
we
deep.
use it. All right, so we're going to springboard off of last week's conversation about gratitude. And right now it's business planning season. And so a lot of people are talking about their goals and strategies and numbers. And it's a really exciting time of year for agents. But one of the things that Matt and I were noticing in the conversations that we were having people is there's a key part of some of these conversations missing, and that's people. Because at the end of the day, we're all in the people business. And so we want to spend a few minutes today talking about the most important relationships that you're going to have in your life, in your business, and in your family, and just give you our thoughts around that.
Yeah. There's one of the courses that has been probably one of the most impactful for me is a course called Quantum Leap that was written actually by Gary Keller. And he talks about it's about creating wealth in your life and abundance, if you will. And one of the things that he found that the most highest self-actualized or the happiest of those that are wealthy are also not, it's not about money, it's about a wealth of relationships. It's about a wealth of people in their world. And the truth of the matter is that no one achieves their maximum potential alone. And so relationships matter more than we ever think.
Yep, absolutely. I know for me, my entire real estate career, as I look back and as I was thinking about the content for today, I look back and at every single phase of my career, there's been somebody that's really important to me. And so as we're coaching agents and we're helping them make plans for next year, one of the questions I want to start asking and asking myself is, who's your who for this year? When you look back on this phase of life, who's going to be the most important people that were in it? And why were they important? Because then we can backtrack and we can be strategic about it. You and I are both strategic in our planning. Who do I need to get into relationship with? And those are some of the things that I want to cover today.
Absolutely. One of my favorite sayings is that people will grow into the conversations you create around them. And the only way to have bigger conversations around you is to be surrounding yourself with people that think bigger than you, that may also challenge you and push you in your thinking and your limiting beliefs and whatever that is. And so being purposeful about your business relationships, your mentors and your role models, and then also with your personal relationships, right? With your family, and being purposeful about that, and really like leaning into those relationships as well is just as critical for us hitting all of our other goals as anything else.
Yep, absolutely. So I'm going to do a screen share and share this image from Quantum Leap that you referenced, so everybody has an idea. And if they want to take a screenshot of it, we can.
I got it right here in front of me too.
Oh, look at that. It's like we planned. We didn't plan our outfits though. We just happened to be really on point today.
With blue.
All the blue. Okay, you all. So let's give a summary of this and then I'll stop screen sharing and we can kind of dive into some of this. So will you kind of just give an overview of this mentors and role models in case people are watching and haven't taken Quantum Leap?
Yeah. So, again, here comes another quote. I love these. I'm the quote guy. And someone mentioned to me in the past that who you are versus who you're supposed to be or who you can become in the next 5 years is determined by the books you read and the people that you surround yourself with. And so when you think about who do you have in your life as a mentor and a role model in your financial life, in your business life, in your career, in your personal life, your physical life, your spiritual life. Like I've got a business coach for my role here. I also have a financial coach, and then I also have a physical coach, right? And so the question that I'm asking myself is, who am I missing in those other areas? And they don't have to, they may not know that they're your role model. For instance, when I think about like spirituality, there's podcasters and there's authors and there's experts that I listen to that through their message, they're actually mentoring me. So they may not know that they're my mentor, and yet that's my spiritual mentor, or that's my financial mentor, etc. So when you take a look at that list and you ask yourself, for this year, who are your mentors and role models in these areas? It may not even be somebody physically like that or knows you yet, right?
I like that part. So one of the things that I've been asking myself in this mentor and role model conversation that we've been having is, in what areas of, if you look at the side here, the financial, the business, the career, personal, and the physical, what areas do I need people who are in the same phase of life as I am? Because sometimes you just need community and you need to be in the trenches with somebody. And sometimes you need somebody who's further ahead of you. So one of the questions that I'm asking is, who do I need to be in the trenches with right now? For us, that's finances. Like, who do we need to find who's flipping houses like we are, who's in the middle of it, who's trying to find creative ways to further their retirement down the road? And for me, I need peers, because I need to be able to text somebody and say, who's your foundation guy? We got an issue. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Another part of this that I think everyone should be aware of is you can't get all of your advice from one person, right? Like my CPA is incredible at my business and my taxes. However, he's on his fourth marriage. So I don't go to him for relationship advice, right? Like he's my financial guy. I don't go to him for like, hey, I'm having some challenges here in my relationship, right? There's somebody else that I go to that I really respect, et cetera, right? And so also don't take financial advice from your broke friends as well, right? So again, where you get your information from is as important as who.
I totally agree with that. So what would you say, if we try to be practical for a second, if somebody's looking to find a new mentor, a new role model, what's the first thing you do if you're like, well, we need to grow in that area?
I go and I ask people in my world, like, hey, who do you know that is killing it in this area? Like, who should I know? Like, my favorite phrase is, who do you know that I need to know? Who do you know that I need to know? And the thing is that our database, or our close relationships, if you will, they will know someone or be able to point me in a direction. And then I just take that next step. And then I open that next door. And then I'm like, oh, okay. Like when what was I thinking the other day? It was, I like to go into my relationships for referrals a lot about a lot of different things, especially if something's not top of mind. And I can't recall exactly the topic, and yet somebody pointed me into a different area. And once I went in and did a Google search, or I went on the podcast, like this entire new genre opened up, and I'm like, oh, wow. And then all of a sudden you start seeing the experts surface, and then you can start and the thing is that, there are so many different books on personal development. There's so many different books on finance, and you're going to find that mentor or role model that actually resonates with you, right? Just because, Dave Ramsey is a financial guy, like it may not resonate with me versus, Tony Robbins in his book Unshakable, or some other things, right? So you're going to find that mentor that really fits with your, like you said, where you are in life, or your style, or just kind of your goals, if you will.
Yeah. So one of the reasons that I wanted to have the conversation with you today is because there's a topic that I've been hearing. So we're in relationships with people, obviously, at our brokerage and in other brokerages as well. And we're a really large office. And so one of the things that our agents don't struggle with is finding someone who's further ahead of them. Even our people who are at the very top of our office, making hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars every year, are right now sitting in a room with Gary Keller. So there's always opportunity in our world to surround yourself with more. And one of the scary conversations that I've been hearing a lot lately is sitting down with people who are like, I'm happy in whatever phase of life. The example that I'm thinking of is, I'm happy at my current brokerage because I'm number one and it feels good to be number one. And I think you've done a really good job of explaining to me before why it's not that actually positive to be number one.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the thing is like, it's all perspective, right? And here's the thing, like, if you're in it for the accolades and the awards and you like just being called number one, that's cool. Like, I get that. I respect that. As long as you understand that that's a choice. The question that I ask is, have you hit your potential though? Right? Like, do you feel like you're truly operating at your highest and best self? And the thing is that most people believe, even especially if you're a top performer, if you're a top producer, that you could be more efficient or more effective in certain areas of your life. And so being number one and like really loving your broker, I value that, right? Like, that's honorable. And yet I share this on a lot of calls. I'm not loyal to Gary Keller. I love my broker too. However, it's this side of the relationships that I'm most loyal to. And that side is my spouse, my kids, my family, and my legacy, right? And so then I got to continue to ask myself is where I'm at and what I'm doing really helping me achieve that highest level of quality of life? We like to call it life by design, right? When you're planning and you're executing on that plan, that's a life by design. And so the relationships matter. I feel like I lost a thread on it a little bit, and yet, again, people grow into the conversations you create around them. If you're the number one person in the room, who's pouring into you, right? And what's the opportunity cost by standing still and relishing in your award for top agent of an office of 5?
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes it's scary to go from being the top dog to being, who knows? Yeah.
I mean, it's humbling, right? Like we've got several agents that came over that were top agents. So here's the thing. They were the top agent in their brokerage for several years, and they kind of stayed at the same level. When they came over, they increased their business 36 to 52% in the first year, in just 1 year, by changing the environment and the conversations around them, right? And the other feedback that I keep receiving is, I can't believe everyone so openly shares how they do what they do here. And I'm like, that's just who we are, right? That's our culture of abundance. And so, when the tide rises, all the ships come with it. So you may be number one where you're at, and yet it could be costing you your life by design, by not being pushed and encouraged to be your best self.
For sure. And even if you're at a place where there are others ahead of you, one of the questions and the things that I've struggled with is, do I want to be pushed by the people that are around me? There's been multiple times in my life where I was surrounded by people who I felt like were further ahead of me. But when I looked at their life, for whatever reason, the wealth that they were having wasn't the type of wealth that I wanted. And so for me, that's one of the topics of this conversation is next year in 2022, as you're goal setting, as we're all looking at what we want to do financially and numbers wise and how many people we want to help, what do you want to do for yourself as far as bringing in some new relationships?
Yeah. Gene Rivers, one of our master faculty members, when he was delivering Quantum Leap, he shared something that really actually hit me for the first time that I haven't articulated very well. And yet it's something I really believe. And he says, being the solo workaholic agent is not a medal of honor. It's not a badge of courage. In fact, it's a negative. Right? Like if you think that you like working 50, 60, 80 hours a week is not a life by design, which is why around here, we're talking about leverage. We talk about relationships. We talk about how to stay purposeful and in your 20% activities, right? Your most productive activities, and then surrounding yourself with systems, models, and support, right? Your who's, not just your mentors, and those will help, your coaches, your mentors, and yet, your team. The bottom half of that page that Rebecca showed, and I'll share it here, is your top 5 wealth determiners for you, right? Like who are the people that you're bringing into your world to help make your world bigger, right? Whether that's through, whether it's an admin or someone that's doing contract to close, or whether you have a showing assistant now that's opening doors for you on nights and weekends so you don't have to miss a parent watch week at dance class again or another soccer game, right? Because even though you're there, you're looking down and forwarding paperwork for that deal and you miss the goal, the one goal, the first goal that your kid ever scored, right? Like that's not a life by design. I don't want to
miss it.
What's that?
I don't want to miss it.
You shouldn't, right? And I know as agents, it's really difficult to balance that or counterbalance that. And yet, if your goal is a life by design, it's all about the who.
Yep, 100%. So something that a lot of people don't know and don't realize is that we don't talk about it a ton, but Matt and I both work at Keller Williams. And one of the things that we love doing is networking with people who aren't in our world yet.
Yeah. So
do you want to share some of the opportunities that we have, like the coaching that we're giving away?
Oh, yeah. This was exciting, right? So we have a department at Keller Williams called MAPS, and it stands for Mega Agent Productivity Systems. And it's our highest level coaching and training organization inside Keller Williams. It's like the Navy SEALs of productivity, and systems. And they have a special program going on right now that they're giving offices like ours an opportunity to introduce people in our market to coaching, to what's possible, right? And so we have several free 1-month professional coaching coupons, if you will, gifts, right? It's the holiday season, right? We've got these gifts. And so it's 4 30-minute calls with a professional MAPS coach. It's going to actually help you go through some of these areas in your business plan and get you set up to really launch in the first quarter of next year. There's absolutely zero obligation and there's no strings attached, right? Like this is truly a contribution and a gift from us to you. And a lot of people were like, okay, I know that sounds really too good to be true. And here's the thing. I mean, it really is just this, like, it's a gift. We're here to help you. One of our agents who joined us in that first month of coaching, she was able to put under contract and pending over 56% more than she ever had at any given time, just by shifting one conversation that she was already having those conversations. And the coach was able to help her identify just shifting one different way that she would say something or have the conversation, and it turned into several pieces of business right away. So just because it's a month doesn't mean it can't really impact your entire year.
I mean, and your life, that's one of the key relationships that people need. I know for me, there's been times that I've had an actual business coach or a personal coach that I'm talking with weekly, and then you get out of the habit or you stop paying for it or there's a life change. And that's something that I would passionately tell everybody you need. You need somebody outside of your world with a clear view of your business. At least all of us entrepreneurs in this world, we need that.
Yeah, there's, and it's free, right? The only thing it's going to cost you is your time and your commitment. Right. And here's the thing, like at the end of the day, I got to go home and I got to face my family. And I have to confidently believe that I'm not just doing the best I know how, I'm doing it the best it can be done. And if somebody's offering you an opportunity to level up and do better and it costs you nothing, don't let your skepticism or concern about something else hold you back from providing from your family. Right. So that's all I have to say about it, right? Like, I'm really passionate about that. And here's the thing, like, I love being invited and having conversations with other agents and other companies all the time, because this is a relationship business, right? Like, we all get better. So take advantage of it.
Yeah, take advantage of that. Take advantage of us. We're happy to chat with any of you anytime about all things life, business, finances.
And we're fun. We're fun to talk to.
We are fun.
I don't know if you know, like, we're pretty fun.
Message me if you'd like the filters I have screenshots of that Matt was using before this.
Stop it.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. We'll see you on Friday.
Take care, guys.